we were looking more into the $1 million race coming up in March in Thermal, California.
They said there's going to be a brand new format here. The top 5, it says no points will be awarded. There will be a draw party to begin the event that will embed members of the Thermal Club with a race team and driver.
Okay.
The top 5 finishing teams will split their earnings with the Thermal Club members, including the $1 million prize awarded to the champion.
And the bottom line is what you just said, Kenny, that NASCAR, IndyCar needs audience. And putting the event behind a gate with armed guards, even if they're not armed guards, putting it behind a gate with $8 or $10 million homes surrounding the racetrack. I don't know that that's the 1% that is going to be very, it's going to be very limited looking, at least. And is that the audience they want? Are there enough of those people out there that are going to make a difference in taking their TV audience? Can they compete for people that are looking at golf tournaments, getting them to look at an IndyCar race? Can they attract the people that advertise at golf tournaments to advertise at an IndyCar racetrack? I don't know. I mean, seems to be a lot of questions. I just think it's a bad look, but what do I know? I'm just a hack writer.
Crasher, has there ever been an IndyCar all-star race of sorts?
Yes. The Marlboro Challenge. Oh, goodness. I'm going to get my dates probably botched up, but I believe it was around 1987 to 1992-ish. The Marlboro Challenge was held, and with some success. Then there was one in 99. I was actually talking with Louis Frank, journalist Louis Frank, about this today. I had forgotten about this. A Hawaii all-star race was proposed, and then 25 days before, I guess, the end of the season, the promoters pulled out saying they just didn't have the money to back it anymore.
Oops.
Yeah, big oops. Yeah, you can Google that.
Again, we see what NASCAR does with it. At one time, the NHRA had an all-star race where they pitted against Top Fuel, and that was just strange as hell because the funny cars would leave before the Top Fuel guys, and the guys at Top Fuel cars would be so psyched out they'd leave when the funny cars go in a red light. But
in theory, it sounds great,
yep.
But it's physically not as possible. Here's the deal, though. Why are all-star races or all-star games? Why do they work in baseball? They don't work in football because we seem to always poo-poo.
Well, that's an easy answer.
What? Well, okay, tell me.
The
why?
guys are at half speed. They're not taking hits. They're not giving hits. It's the injury issue. That's why.
Okay.
All-star ratings are down across the board, by the way.
Yeah, no, but wait a minute. NASCAR has done all-star kinds of shows. They moved that show to the Busch Clash, I think is what it's called. They put that in the Coliseum in a different place for a different audience, and they got new people looking at the at the races. It's not putting it behind a gate in front of people that own $10 million condos. It just reeks of what they don't want to do. But I don't know. And it also reminds me of the kind of mentality that took CART down the rabbit hole.
The elitism is what you're referring to.
The elitism, exactly.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
30
with
seconds.
A limited seat capacity or whatever we want to call it, that on the surface, that doesn't look great. But if they're going to say this is made for TV, then make it freaking work for TV. And I like the outside of the box thinking. And then your next all-star idea better be something with a massive in-person audience.